you guys. Welcome back to Calling the Shots with Kiki
and Sarah.
And it has been because we've pre-recorded our Thanksgiving episode and because I forgot to stop my timer that I run when we record. It's been 308 hours and 16 minutes since Sarah and I were last together.
Which is crazy that we have this to like gauge how long
I really need to hit stop.
Yeah.
Because I know it drains my battery and I've been over it, so I won't talk about it a ton. But I've gotten better.
Yeah.
So I
was going to say, well, have you?
Actually.
It's okay. I'll try to remind you after this to end it.
Thank you. How have you been?
I've been good. I kind of mentioned it before we just started, but my voice was like kind of going last time. I woke up the next day and literally could not talk.
No.
Yeah.
You sacrificed your voice for this podcast.
So bad. And I like had no voice for like 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
It was crazy. And so I like went to work and I produce a radio show and like I occasionally talk. Like they like to engage with me and talk. And so like next day I texted them. I was like, hey guys, so like I woke up and I have no voice. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Like I won't be like talking today.
Yeah. You cannot interact with me.
And literally the first thing they do when they start the show, they're like, oh my gosh, so like Sarah has something so important to tell us. And I was like, I literally sound like I smoke 6 packs a day.
You're like, so per my last text.
I'm not talking today, but I lost my voice. And this is what it sounds like. You're welcome, all of our radio listeners.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
So it was a little bit of a struggle, but I think I was just like getting over my sickness and then talking for like 2 hours straight didn't necessarily help.
No, it's probably hurt a lot.
And that's the thing though, it didn't really hurt. It was just like, I was just really congested and it was messing with my throat. And then, yeah, talking didn't do much
Sarah, thank you for your sacrifice.
You know, anything for the podcast.
Anything for the pod.
But other than that, I'm doing great. I'm feeling a lot better.
Good.
I also started watching the Beckham documentary.
Good.
Kiki, I literally remembered yesterday that we talked about it and I was like, crap, I need to watch it like ASAP.
I'm impressed.
Because I just know it might come up and I'm going to be like, I didn't watch it, even though I said multiple times, like, oh, easy, I can blow through it.
Yeah, like, oh, the holidays are coming up. Yep.
So
what, first episode?
I watched the first 2.
Okay.
Big fan. It's super fun. It makes me like miss watching soccer. Because I used to watch soccer all the time. Yeah. Especially in high school when I was like getting into it more. I would sit and do my homework and just watch like hours of like the games that happened earlier in the day.
Precious.
When I used to watch so much soccer. And so I was like, dang, I need to watch soccer again. But also like I didn't know because I wasn't even born when this all started.
Right.
He's a little before us, but like obviously everyone knows about David Beckham.
Yeah.
But
a legend. But
I didn't know like the like kind of scrutiny that he went through.
Yeah.
It was like insane.
Because for us, we see David Beckham and he is beloved, right? Like everybody loves David Beckham. But because we were so young when everything went down, it's like, oh, but the whole country hated him.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And like, I don't think I've really seen that a ton with anyone. The only person I can think of is like Colin Kaepernick, but it's not like people necessarily hated him. It was just like so much controversy surrounding him. But like, I can't think of someone in the US that was like, every single game they played in, the entire stadium booed him. Yeah. Like, that is insane.
Which is, like, with such a prominent player, too.
Yeah.
It's really, I was just like, this is probably so, like, well-known in England. And I
just didn't know.
I just didn't know.
Yeah.
But to me, it's crazy because I'm sitting there watching it like, I'm sorry. David Beckham, who we all love, was not always loved.
Yeah. And, like, also, we talked about before, like, the influence coaches can have. If his coach would have just backed him up, how differently would things have been?
I know. Coaches have a huge influence, and it's interesting because I feel like even as you keep going, you'll have to tell me what you think, because I think for David Beckham, like, it was almost like coaches didn't want to stick up for him because they're like, he has it all. He's a
Yeah.
celebrity.
He doesn't
He's an
need
athlete.
me to.
Yeah. Like, I'm not playing into this almost. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so unique. So, I'm actually so glad you watched the first 2 episodes. The whole red card thing was that, for context, guys, the reason David Beckham was, like, booed by all of
The
England,
country.
like, England did not like him. He was in a World Cup match and
qualifying to move on.
Yeah,
it wasn't just like the group round.
No,
it was if you lose, you're out.
Yes, so he was in like a do or die World Cup match, and basically an Argentinian player like provoked him, and so he reacted and got a red card. And as we've said a bunch of times, when you get a red in soccer,
you're out.
You're out. You're playing down a man.
Then they ended up losing in penalty kicks, which, like, there's so many other things that went to the game, and everyone blamed it just on David getting a red card. And we're like, if he still was in the game, we probably would have won. But, like, 3 players missed PKs.
Yeah.
3.
Uh-huh.
And PKs frustrate me so much because, like, it breaks everything down. Like, I get there's a lot of pressure on you, but, like, it's just you and the goalie. And the goal is twice the size of the goalie. Yeah. You know? And they have to stay on their line. There's, like, so many things that favor the person kicking the ball that, like, and at that level, you should not be missing.
No, anytime it comes to PKs. So PKs, guys, it's like, it's basically like, this is what it's come to. The game has not been sorted out. Maybe you've played extra time. Maybe it goes straight to PKs. But it's literally, it's a penalty kick. And it's just
in the goal box.
It's just literally the soccer player going to kick a ball into the goal, and only the goalie's there. Yeah. Nobody else. Like, it's 1v1.
Yeah. And it's like, what, 12 yards, 18 yards?
Yeah, something like that. And it's just kind of crazy because, like,
there's so many other factors. And even the Argentinian player that, like, he provoked, like, he kicked, I put air quotes because he didn't really kick him. Yeah. And, like, the Argentinian player really played into it, even admits that he played into it and that he didn't think it should have been a red card.
Yeah, it was crazy. They were like, do you think he should have got a red? And he was like,
absolutely not. Yeah.
He's like, absolutely not. But I wasn't going to say that, you know? Like, but no. It's like, what? So it's super, super crazy. And, like, yeah, he went through a rough time.
A lot.
I feel like it would suck to have your whole country hate you.
Yeah. Like, I could not even imagine.
I can't imagine. I feel like you hear things like that even with, like, colleges or teams, but it's, like, literally the whole country. Yeah. And, like, especially somewhere where soccer is, like,
life.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, football for them, obviously. But, like, it's just, if we had, like, an American football Olympics or something, it doesn't even compare. Like, it just doesn't match up.
It doesn't.
So, anyways,
it's crazy.
It's super crazy. I'm glad you watch it. You have to keep letting me know.
I'm excited to watch the rest. But yeah, I literally I remembered and I was like, crap, I need to start watching it like now. But they're like long. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to watch the first 2 and then we can at least get to that point.
They're long episodes, but when you're done, you'll be like, dang.
There's only 4 of them. So like, it's just like a 4-hour movie.
Yeah. Guys, seriously, go watch. And then if you didn't understand this, go back and listen to this part.
Yeah. If you're lost, go watch the Beckham.
Yeah.
Documentary.
Wow, I'm so happy to watch. Did you do any like Black Friday shopping or anything, by the way?
I did not, because I worked. Also, I knew this before, but like I think it's becoming more prominent. Like Black Friday is kind of a scam. And I'm sorry.
I'm just like almost dropping stuff, checking on equipment. Just ignore that.
Anyways, yeah, we just had to double check a few things. She's about to knock everything over.
Sarah's just like laughing. You guys are like, what's happening?
I was like, I don't even know how to explain what's going on here. But
no, Black Friday deals are not what they used to be.
Yeah, they're not what they used to be. They've kind of become like companies have rigged the system. Like they try to.
Did you see the Target TikTok?
Yeah. And
basically, like even for you, like basically people are revealing that like they'll pull back the label with the price that says Black Friday.
Yeah, it says Black Friday sale, and it's the same price as like the normal sale,
which is the paper behind it.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, and like, well, even when I worked for Nike, a lot of the time people would ask us like what discounts you're gonna have, and we just said like they're gonna be the same. Yeah, like you could come on Saturday or even the next like the Monday, and it's gonna be the same as they were on Black Friday.
Yeah, it's like And then there's Cyber Monday, so it really goes on for like
a long time.
I feel like it's like a month-long thing.
So I didn't really feel super like I missed out. I did buy a few things online just because I worked like the whole weekend besides Thanksgiving. So like I did buy some Nike leggings and I bought like a couple things off Amazon, and that was kind of it for me. Because I was like, after seeing all this, I'm like, I don't want to go out there and like fight the crowds just for it to be the same sale.
No, literally. So I was like, I really want a new pair of Madewell jeans because I'm an idiot and stained my like favorite pair of jeans. You know, you have that one pair. Like I literally wear this pair like 3 times a week, okay? And I saw it's like listed for like $135 or something. I'm like, I'm not paying that. So I was like, the one place I want to go to try them on is Madewell.
Yeah.
My boyfriend and I pulled up to the mall and I was like, never mind.
Yeah.
I was literally like, no.
I'll find another way.
Even him dropping me off, because I was like, maybe you could drop me off because it's like crazy to park. And I was like, I would still have to walk so far in the cold. Like, this is not worth it. So I did do some Amazon shopping and like online shopping. And I had saved up Amazon gift cards from like my birthday and stuff. Nice. So I had like $100 in Amazon gift cards. And I was like, we're using all of this.
Nice.
It was great.
Sick. Yeah, we got a lot of Amazon gift cards from the wedding. And so, we're just like, okay, how do we want to spend this?
Yeah.
But that's the worst. Black Friday, and I'm just so over the crowds that like I needed to get stuff at the grocery store. Like we ran out of cat food. We have 2 cats. That's kind of a problem. Luckily, we had cans of tuna because I was like, they're gonna eat great. They're just gonna eat tuna.
They're gonna be living the life.
I don't feel like trying to, even like a Smith's or a Walmart, I don't feel like trying to fight the crowds.
Yeah.
It
gets crazy.
So
I respect anyone who makes it like an event though.
Yeah, makes it a whole thing.
I have a friend who wakes up so early and goes, and I'm like, you know what? Good for you.
I used to, when I was younger, we used to go, because when Hollister was like a big thing.
Oh my gosh.
The Hollister sweat shirts and like sweatpants were like huge. And so we would go because they would have actual big deals.
I was going to say, it was worth it, though.
It was worth it. Yeah. And so me and my mom and my sister would wake up early and go to Hollister.
It is so funny. I saw this TikTok and he was like, people will never like actually know what it was like. Yeah. He was like, the reason people were willing to like injure someone and go to jail for these deals is because the money you saved can pay your bail out of jail. That's like true. How dramatic, like obviously he's being dramatic.
But
it was
crunch some numbers, he may not be that far off.
Straight up. It was crazy what the deals were. So I'm just like, man, it's like always like a few bucks off now, I swear. I'm like, okay. Or like there's some like flight, this is the last thing I'll say about it. There's some flight deals for like Cyber Monday.
Yes.
But like I looked at one airline and it's like one of the cheaper ones. So I was like, oh, a cheap deal from like, it'll be a really good deal because the flight's already pretty cheap. But it was like off the base fare, which is like no luggage, no nothing. Like, and it just like made it so the discount was off the cheapest possible price. And then it's like, I saved $10.
Yeah.
Like, what?
After, all the fees.
Yeah. So anyways, we were pretty in sync for that then, Sarah.
Yeah, we really were. Did you get to see your family for Thanksgiving?
I did. Okay. I saw my family. Fun. It was super fun. I saw my nieces. I saw, I saw like pretty much all of my immediate family. And then we just did like a smaller Thanksgiving and it was super nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Did you watch any football on Thanksgiving?
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah. That's all I did, really. Well, that's a lie. I watched a few of the games. I fell asleep watching the 49ers game.
Great game.
Because I was, great game, great win for them. But I was just like, I didn't even eat that much food, but I was just like so tired because I'd worked and I finally had a day off. So I definitely crashed for like a little bit. And then Friday I watched a ton of football because I was working, but also we don't even have to get into it. But the Gators. Oh yeah, it was rough. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later.
I'll touch on that.
Speaking of football, so since you watched the games, did you see any of the halftime performances?
Yes.
Okay. If you guys didn't see
the controversy.
So Jack Harlow performed and so did Dolly Parton.
Yeah, at 2 different games. This is during the NFL halftime performances for Thanksgiving games. Yeah.
Which, yeah, 2 different games. I kind of like having, like, Thanksgiving halftime performances are fun. I feel like they're
supposed to be, yeah.
They're supposed to be fun, right? It's, like, not as intense as the Super Bowl performances by any means.
But it's still
But it's just like, oh, cool, a good show.
Yeah.
And
first was Jack Harlow's,
so
right?
Thank goodness his was first.
Yeah.
His was first, and I swear the budget for his set must have been like
not great.
$2,000.
I saw someone say it looks like they just Amazon 2-day shipped a bunch of stuff because they forgot about it.
It was
and threw it together.
It was literally like an igloo, like a small. Wasn't that what it is?
It
like
wasn't,
a small igloo.
And that was kind of it. It was like
I don't even know what else. Yeah,
and it looked like it was made out of literally like arts and crafts that
straight
little
up like
put together.
paper in boxes or something is what
and then
the vibes
it
I
was
got.
almost like that plastic that you use for like plastic wrap almost but it was whitish colored, covered the field.
Not the whole field,
just
a very
part
small portion of it.
And so he walks out of the igloo, and then it's just like this plastic wrap that he's walking on.
And here's what I'll say. I saw the broadcast angle, like the TV angle, and I was like, oh, that's not great.
Yeah.
And then I saw people's video, like cell phone video of them sitting in the stands at halftime, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I will not complain.
Yeah. It looked bad, and like people were like, why the heck is it so quiet in there? Because like usually you're cheering, you're singing along, and like no offense, like Jack Harlow didn't even look like he was super into it. Like it wasn't the best performance from him, but I would obviously not, like if that's the effort they're gonna put in for me, I'm probably not gonna give my full effort.
I almost feel like it's also kind of hard for like a rapper.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a singer, you're more likely to have, I don't know, like, to me at least, like, it's not that you can't put on a show if you're rapping or anything or, like, anything like that, because you definitely can, but it is just, like, it's different and sometimes feels a little bit more intimate because it's just, like, you and the person you're rapping to, it feels like.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's just how I interpret rap music and, like, that's how I listen to it and I like it like that.
Yeah.
But it's, like, sometimes if there's like a whole bunch of different things going on musically also and whatever, it's like easier to put on like a big show or have backup dancers more or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if they just like didn't know what to do, but it was bad.
Yeah.
And then Dolly Parton's.
It was rough. And then Dolly's was literally so extravagant.
Yeah.
And she dressed up like a Cowboys cheerleader. And
I'm like pretty iconic.
Pretty iconic, yeah. Pretty sure she was lip syncing, but I mean, it's Dolly Parton. She's what?
Yeah.
I don't even know how old she is.
Honestly.
But she's up there in age.
And I would assume they might.
But it was a full on like stage with like strobe lights and like bunch of dancers. And it was just like very
She had the cheerleaders.
Yeah, she had the cheerleaders. It was just like a whole production, whereas Jack Harlow,
they really cheaped him. Yeah. I feel like that's not fair to him. Yeah. So, but I like having the halftime shows, but like you need to give it the attention it deserves.
You actually have to put effort into it if it's gonna land, because his definitely flopped, and I kind of feel bad for him because I feel like he's very liked. Like, well liked among everyone.
I feel like he is too. He honestly seems like a nice dude.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of Jack Harlow TikToks for whatever reason. Yeah. And I'm like, at least the ones populating on my feed, I'm like, he just seems like a smiley, nice, chill dude. Yeah. Seems super chill.
He seems super.
So I feel bad, but
it's okay. It happens. People will forget. The next embarrassing thing will happen and people forget.
Well, and hopefully they learn their lesson. Hopefully they're like, okay, we have to actually make Thanksgiving halftime shows good.
Yes.
Anyways.
For sure.
Beyond that, we did have a Super Bowl rematch.
Yes.
Which took place Monday.
Yes.
I just had to figure out my days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Monday before Thanksgiving.
It was Monday before Thanksgiving. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this is like, we're taking you guys back for this
a little bit. But like, we had to touch on it. Like I said, we did record pretty early for the Thanksgiving
honestly,
one.
The biggest thing is that Mama Kelsey's shoe game was awesome.
Yeah. she had like I think they were Jordans. I think they were Jordan 11s.
Okay, cool. I can't remember because I remember.
Well, I sent you one of an unboxing of her unboxing, like these like
yeah, I saw that one too. But
then the ones that she was wearing, I think they were Jordan 11s, and like one was like green and like Eagles themed. It was green and white, and the other one was like red and white, and it was Chiefs themed. I'm like, literally. I hope to be as swaggy as her when
I know. That's honestly why I like didn't even remember what the shoes were, because I was like, they were like painted intricately. They were cool. I was so focused on that. Did you see the Eagles? Oh my gosh, who did they play this Sunday? It was
past Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Overtime.
Oh my!
Is it the Jets? No.
No. Why am I struggling?
Hold on, guys. Just give us a sec.
The way my mind is just like going through different teams, I watch this, but all I can picture is Jalen Hurts'
the Bills
face. The Bills.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna say it, Sarah. I'm gonna say it. I think the NFL is favoring the Eagles and the Chiefs. I know this is out there a lot, but did you see the penalty comparison between them?
No.
You should Google it. It's actually like search Bills Eagles penalty Sunday Night Football, or I don't know, something like that. There's just been a lot of times where I'm like, I feel like the refs are favoring the Eagles and the Chiefs because they love the attention that the Kelsey brothers are bringing in.
It's true.
And it's crazy for me to say this because, guys, I love them. We talk about them all the time because I love them. But I'm also like...
I'm trying to find it. Sorry.
I know. I literally need
But
to
I'm not surprised.
It was like...
in the slightest, honestly.
Yeah, like Eagles... Let's see. Eagles, Bills...
Lopsided penalty stats here. But that's crazy.
It's just like... It's kind of... People have said... Let's see. Buffalo committed 11 penalties for 80 lost yards, and the Eagles were listed for 4 penalties for 30 lost yards. I thought it was even crazier than that.
Still.
But like...
That's like significant.
11 to 4... Like, normally it's pretty even in penalties. So, anyways, it was just kind of crazy. And I just kind of am starting to think like...
Yeah, it's been out there for a while. But I feel like as you get closer to the Super Bowl, you see it more... I feel like it's become more prominent.
Same. Anyways, I hope that's not actually the case, and I hope it just seems like that and it's not like that.
Yeah.
But like we've said before, refs have a lot of power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure. Anyways.
Crazy. Now we're just going to get to our final little piece of juicy gossip for you guys.
Yeah. This has also been unfolding for a while. So bear with us. We're going to go back a little bit. But I don't know if you guys have seen, we've talked about her before, Angel Reese. She's like a huge NIL player for LSU's women's basketball. And there's been some drama surrounding her and the team and even her coach. Back on November 15th, LSU played, I don't even know, in a game. Doesn't even really matter, but she played the first half, Angel Reese did, and then all of a sudden was benched for the second half of the game. And then she wasn't even at their next game that following Friday, the 17th. Yeah.
So then people kind of were like, oh, what's going on? So they asked...
Kim Mulkey, the coach, in the post-game presser, she was asked, like, why? Where's Angel Reese? Why isn't she here? And she basically said, Angel is a part of this basketball team, and we hope to see her sooner than later. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And that didn't really answer. That wasn't enough for reporters,
so
apparently.
Then they basically asked again, and she said, quote, we hope she's back with the team soon. And then later on, she also said, I'm not going to answer any more of that. Yeah. So
you're not entitled. She basically said you're not entitled to know and called her team a family and was like, I'm going to protect my players.
Yeah. So that was the attitude she approached it with. And at this point, people were kind of like, okay, like, we'd like to know. But like, there's kind of some people being like, just tell us. And other people being like, way to protect your players. It was like kind of back and forth. But we still haven't seen Angel.
Yeah, she hasn't played in any games. There's been like social media buzz about what's happening. Some people are speculating like academically she's not at the standard she needs to be at. There was like drama between like two of her mom and some like one of the other players' moms. on like Instagram stories. It's like become this whole thing. Angel Reese even came out then and said
on social media,
please don't believe everything you read. But like, what does that mean?
Like, what does that mean? Because there's been so many different things. Like, which ones should we not believe? Then what should we believe?
Yeah.
And then she posted, do you remember, I talked to Sarah about this audio forever ago.
Yeah.
There's this audio of Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, basically being like, what about me makes you think that I care about my opinion of you?
Or your opinion
of me. Like, your opinion doesn't mean anything of who I actually am.
Yeah.
She posted a video of herself with that audio.
Yeah.
And we're like,
okay, still doesn't answer any questions.
Honestly, if anything, we're just stirring the pot at this point.
Yeah.
So, literally it says, look at me, what about me would make this audio is so good, you guys should find it. What about me would make you think that I care about your opinion of me? Your opinion of me is not opinion that I have of myself. You ain't make me, so you can't break me. You didn't build me, so you can't kill me. That's what she posted to. So,
yeah.
What's happening? We don't know answers.
And other people are also like kind of shocked because she's like a huge part of this LSU team and like a big reason they won the national title last year. But at the same time, like they've won all of their games without her.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's not going.
What is happening?
It's like not going well either for anyone involved. Yeah. It's just kind of weird.
Which I'm like, that doesn't look good for Angel because that's like, what motivation does the team have to get her back if they're doing
100%?
And they're beating like not just randoms, but they've beat like a couple ranked teams.
And then there's like the coach Kim Mulkey getting a lot of hate too because some people are like, literally, you're making it more dramatic. Just give us something.
Yeah.
But she's like, I want to protect my players. And people are like, do you want to protect your players? Or are you just saying that because it feels like instead of protecting your players, more people are just creating rumors about what's going on.
Yeah.
It's just a mess, you guys. So I'm honestly just eager to find out like what's actually happening.
Yeah.
One way or another.
We'll try to keep you posted. But that's what we know so far, which is a whole lot of nothing. Just like a lot of unanswered questions and comments that are really cryptic.
Yeah.
Basically. So hopefully we find out the tea because, man, it seems like it's juicy.
Yeah, no, it does. And I don't even know. I have no idea what it could be. So I'm like,
is there beef between her and the players? There was even, I forgot to mention this, but like initially it was reported that like the reason she was benched in the first place was because of attitude issues.
Yeah.
Which we know she's fiery. And she's said things in the past that not everyone loved.
Yeah. She's outspoken.
She's very outspoken.
That's how she is.
And she's unapologetic about it. So that could have rubbed someone the wrong way on the team.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the thing. We don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's the world of basketball. But we're going to get into the world of football a little bit for you guys because it was just college football rivalry week. And it was awesome.
Yeah. It did not disappoint.
It did not disappoint. I'm going to talk about one. I think we both kind of touch on, like, do you talk about the Auburn-Alabama game at all?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones that I have.
Yeah, same. So we'll kind of just dive right into the big topic of the episode, which is college football rivalries.
Yeah. So, in honor of it happening last week, which, man.
And guys, I was telling Sarah before we started, I did so much research.
Yeah. We learned a lot.
These rivalries run deep. Like, sports is drama, and I don't want drama in my own life. I live for it in other people's lives.
I love to see it unfold.
And you see it in sports all the time, and we're going to get to the root of it with a couple of the biggest college football rivalries. We'll do 2 each, and then we're going to end on one together.
Yeah, that is a little more personal.
Yeah, a little more personal for us. We didn't decide who's going first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Because
I was just staring at you until you made a decision.
I alluded to one of them that I'm actually not going to really talk about, but it did happen. Florida played FSU. Mm-hmm. That's a big rivalry. They lost, and it was like we basically beat ourselves. They had all the opportunities.
We being
We being Florida.
In case-
Sorry, if you didn't already know, I'm a
In
Florida
case
Gator
you forgot,
fan.
or if people just associate Florida with Sarah, you have to know Florida
Yes.
Gators.
Yes, the Florida Gators play
Not-
Florida State Seminoles every
Yeah.
year. It's a huge rivalry. The Seminoles were undefeated this year, still are undefeated, but they lost their like star quarterback, who's like a Heisman hopeful in the conversation,
Which is like the best award you can get in college football.
yeah. And they lost. He got really injured, season ending, broke his leg or something crazy like that.
Terrible. That
Terrible.
actually was really
It was
sad.
bad. It was sad. It was bad. But then it did make me think maybe we have a chance.
Right. Well, you're just looking at like logistically looking at the roster.
Yeah, maybe the Florida has a chance.
What does this mean?
And they did, and they really screwed it up for themselves. It was a rough game. But I'm not really talking about that rivalry this time because that's personally not necessarily the biggest.
Yeah.
Florida, Georgia is the biggest. And some people, like, I've met out west didn't really know that was, like, crazy big. I personally didn't even, like, I like Georgia. I don't hate them.
Yeah.
But this, like, I'm rare. People look at me if they know about the rivalry and they're like, what?
Yeah.
But it runs deep as well. They first started they can't even decide. This is how, like, intense it is. They can't even decide on when the first game between the two teams was. It's speculated it was either 1904 or 1915. It's still disputed. They still can't decide. That just like, are you kidding me?
They can't agree on literally
They can't
anything.
agree on anything. Yeah. And so anyways, it's become one of the most prominent football games. It's so intense that it doesn't even happen. It doesn't even happen at one of their home games. It happens in Jacksonville.
Oh, I see. Like it's
played at a
neutral location.
Neutral location, which not a lot of games are.
Not a lot.
So
or if that happens, a lot of times it's just like a random game.
Yeah.
That's like, oh.
Yeah, or it's due to like weather or something.
Yeah, sometimes teams will like play at NFL stadiums, but like I know BYU's played at NFL stadiums, but like most of the time it's just like happen that way or like for logistical reasons or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. This one is always played in Jacksonville, no matter what. And so, anyways, actually, not always. They started in 1933, forever ago.
Yeah.
You know, basically. It's also, the unofficial name of it is the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, which I had never really heard that before.
I don't drink, but I want to go to that game.
Yeah, it's because of how like big of a matchup it is and how huge tailgating is in the South. It just becomes this big party.
Yeah, that sounds like a party.
Leading up to the game.
I want to go.
Yeah.
That sounds so fun. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm down. Say less.
That sounds so fun.
Maybe let's wait till like Florida's a little better.
Okay.
And then let's go.
You tell me when.
Okay.
I'm there.
Sounds good. Anyways, just for like a little bit of history and like some of the traditions, there was never like, some rivalries are so big that they have like a trophy that's awarded to them after the game. That was not a thing until 2009 when the student governments of both Florida and Georgia announced a new trophy called the Okefenokee.
I'm sorry, what?
Okefenokee or.
Oh, okay.
Okefenokee. Sorry.
Okefenokee.
It's a tongue twister.
No kidding.
And it's apparently this 10-foot long like oar that you use for rowing.
Yeah.
It's wooden and supposedly it's carved
That's
from.
huge. I'm sorry, 10 foot?
Yeah, it's 10 feet.
Put two of me
two
on
kikis.
top, basically. Yeah.
Apparently it's carved from the remains of a 1,000-year-old cypress tree that once grew in the Okefenokee swamp that straddles Florida and Georgia. How true is that? I don't know.
I don't know, but I think it's a cool story.
But that's a cool story.
I think we should pretend it's true regardless.
So anyways, that's what you win if you win the game. And then like you can carve into it. A bunch of the teams have carved like their names or like different things into it. Anyways, it's super cool. There's been a lot of like games that were like super dramatic. We talked about the documentary that came out called The Swamp Kings.
Yeah.
About Florida's team between like 2005 and 2008. It's when they went on this huge winning streak. Tim Tebow, all of that stuff. Urban Meyer. Yeah, that whole drama. So one of the most dramatic games happened within those years. 2 of them, actually. So in 2007, that matchup, Georgia had this huge unsportsmanlike conduct penalty when one of their players scored a touchdown. The entire team ran into the end zone and were like taunting Florida and like stomping around and like,
oh my gosh,
just like the most ridiculous, like,
yeah,
kind of gross thing. And then it was like so prominent that it became known as the Gator Stomp. And then the Georgia also went on to win that game. 42-30, and that was Tim Tebow's Heisman, the year that he won the Heisman Trophy. So It was like a big year for him. I'm pretty sure that following that, he had his huge speech that's like super popular, and that game fueled Florida for the next one. Like, revenge was on their mind. That was bigger than like the championship game for them, was waiting to get to that game in 2008 again. And so they did, and they ended up blowing Georgia out of the water 49-10.
Wow, that's crazy.
And it was all because of, like, it really stuck with those players, and a lot of them came back for that next season. And yeah, it was, like, crazy. It was a top 10 matchup in 2008. It was, like, one of the biggest games of the year. It was just, like, insane, and then Florida went out and destroyed them, which I always love to see. But yeah, it's a huge rivalry. It's so big that like they can't even play at their own stadiums. Yeah. You know?
No, that is pretty epic.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I feel like it's different when you're there. Like I said, we gotta go one time.
No, I told you I literally want to go.
I personally would like to wait until my Gators don't suck, but we could go.
Like you said, we'll wait.
Down. So yeah, that's my first one. Florida, Georgia, the biggest outdoor cocktail party in the world.
So fun.
Yeah.
My first one also was played at a neutral location. So this is Army Navy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you hear the names and you can pretty much assume it's a rivalry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's patriotism and traditionalism all wrapped in one. I read that online and was like, that is so well said.
Yeah.
That is
amen.
Facts.
Yeah.
Because really for them, like unlike a lot of rivalries, there is a lot of respect with these teams. Like they hate on each other and they bag on each other and do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, like they are very like, there is just like an underlying level of respect because they're kind of like at the same time, we're really all fighting for the same team, which is the United States of America.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
It's like, it just like has a cool undertone to it, I think, that you just can't find in other rivalries.
Yeah.
Which is sick. Like kind of you said, it is unique because they play at a neutral location as well. Yeah. And it's always like really big. So they're playing at Gillette Stadium this year. Nice. And they usually play at Gillette Stadium or somewhere really big like that. They don't play during rivalry week. They play one of like the first Saturdays of December and there's no other college football games on at the time.
Yeah. Which is sick.
So sick, so iconic.
Yeah, Florida Georgia doesn't play on rivalry week either.
Yeah, it's like really epic when they just like
have that's a spot. Cool. Yeah, it's just all eyes on them.
Literally all eyes on them. It's after the regular season, before bowl games start, which is like the postseason play basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this year it'll be on December 9th. So this is actually great, guys, because it's a little preview because it's coming up. Anyways, it's kind of crazy, too, because often you'll see, like, literally the president of the United States there. And we'll talk more about that later. Just so casual. So this rivalry dates back to 1890. It's, like, really, really old. But there was a 6-year break after the 93 game because 2 senior officers basically started, like, dueling. And they were like, okay, this is way too intense. So the Secretary of War and the Secretary of the Navy said, listen, this game's becoming a little bit of a distraction. Like, we need to pause. They did resume it 6 years later. Also kind of crazy and just, like, really interesting to me was that they did play during World War II. If you look at a lot of college football programs, they didn't.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that was really fascinating because I remember like there's times where like I'll look at records and I'm like, oh, that's right, that's during World War II. Like that's why they don't have a record then, or that's why they didn't play
then. And that's
then.
kind of crazy because they're like the military.
Yes. I know, it's crazy to me. I mean, I guess maybe it's just like, hey, you're still here.
You might as well.
I don't know, like, yeah, I'm not sure everything
Get people's minds off the war.
Yeah, maybe. But it was like really...
That's wild.
Yeah, so they got a lot of attention for it because it was like they're number 1 and number 2 in the nation. They're, you know, so it was really just kind of interesting. And there is like a lot of historical significance with the rivalry. So when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, like basically almost all of college football games were moved to the following week. But the Army-Navy game was going to be canceled because in accordance with like the military honoring of the national 30-day period of mourning. So they were like, well, we're a part of that, so
we have to put a pause.
We'll like cancel that game. But Jacqueline Kennedy like insisted that the game be played because President Kennedy regularly attended the game and he was going to go to that game. So just like, that's pretty epic. Yeah. Like the roots run deep with it. There's also just like a lot of unique aspects to this rivalry. As I was looking it up, they're like, all the unique aspects, like the prisoner exchange. I was like, what? Excuse me? What do you mean the prisoner exchange? Not actual prisoners, clearly, okay? But basically, so starting in 1945, Army, Navy, and other branches of the U.S. military, they created a service exchange program, which basically allows students to do like a semester of like an exchange semester.
Like Navy or Army?
Yeah, at a different school.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which is really interesting. So on game day, the visiting students that are like visiting the other school will be led by the respective first captain from Army and the respective commander from Navy. And they're exchanged back to their own side of the field to like watch the game.
That's crazy.
So it's also just pretty crazy.
Extra.
Yes, because they'll, to make it even more extra, they'll like write things like on their backs as they're walking. So like in 2016, let's see, the midshipmen, which is Navy, they wrote on their back 14 years, referencing the football's then active 14-game winning streak, like as they were walking across the field.
Love that.
So that's like really unique. You aren't going to see something like that anywhere else. They both their choirs sing the national anthem together before the game. At halftime, President Roosevelt, he was kind of the first U.S. president to attend a game back in 1901, and he walked across the field so that he could be on like support both teams at halftime.
She's not choosing sides.
Yes, literally. So it started a tradition where the senior government official walks across the field at halftime to make sure he's like not, or she, like they're not choosing sides.
That's funny.
If the president isn't in attendance, it's the Secretary of Defense or just like the senior ranking officer. Yeah. But it's usually one of them.
Someone important.
Also for context of like how intense this game is.
Yeah.
And then after the final whistle, they all stand next to each other and they sing each other's like alma maters together, like everybody does. And the loser's alma mater song goes first, and then it's the other one. So there's like a lot of like back and forth between it, but I just wanted to focus on like the unique parts of the rivalry because it is so unique.
Yeah, it is. That's so fun.
And it plays a lot just into like...
it's so old. Like, that has to be one of the oldest.
So old. I mean, I found other ones that were like date back pretty far, but like 1890 was the furthest one that I had looked at.
Yeah.
So
crazy. Also, did you see the Navy's video to announce their uniforms for this game?
Yes.
Was intense.
Yeah.
It was like they're like on a submarine, like all, of course it's the Navy, so like ocean.
That's
they're
the
like,
thing.
It was so cool,
but it like makes sense to be intense for them. Other teams can do that, but it doesn't make as much sense.
Yeah, because like these people actually go to war at some point, you know?
Yes. No,
like
straight up. Like they're yeah.
Not against each other, but yeah. Anyways, but they announced, I think Army did. I didn't see their video, but I saw their uniforms and they were sick too. So like that's just like a fun little side note is like they always do. I feel like they go all out for this this matchup.
They do. They go all out for the matchup, and it's like it's very well known. Like we said, like it's all eyes on them on this day. So pretty cool.
Anyways, next, I'll make this one a little quicker, but like it's also a very big one in the South. Alabama, Auburn. I have friends that are both, and they like legitimately don't get along.
Yeah, this one's actually crazy.
They will straight up like they just don't talk about football because they'll get like angry with each other. It's it's wild. So it's also known as the Iron Bowl. We've mentioned it in the past with some like crazy things that have happened. It's considered one of the most important rivalries in American sports, and it started in 1893. There's been a lot of wild endings, especially recently, like the one we talked about in the past, the kick six, where Auburn Alabama kicked a field goal to try to win the game, and it was too short, and Auburn had a player that was standing by the field goal, caught the ball, and ran it all the way down to the other end.
Win the football game.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Crazy.
Last year's was also pretty intense. Alabama was ranked number 3. Auburn was unranked, and Alabama ended up winning 24-22 in a 4 overtime game. 4 overtimes.
Yeah, that's actually so insane. I forgot about that.
Which is
a super
wild.
long game.
And it's like, it's an unranked Auburn team against a number 3, but like, it doesn't even matter. Like, when it came to that game, like, Auburn, I swear, a lot of the time wasn't always ranked. They haven't always been the best. And they somehow...
That's what I love about
make
rivalries.
It competitive.
I feel like that happens in rivalries all the time, where there's a team that's super good and one that's not.
Never know who's going to win.
It's just a crazy
and
matchup.
Then this year's, the one that just happened on Thanksgiving weekend, Bama's ranked number 8. Auburn is unranked, and Bama ended up winning 27-24 after they trailed. Bama trailed 24-20, and the last play of the game was 4th and goal on the 31-yard line. So they're like far. Yeah. This is their last chance. Like 4th down, Hail Mary.
They've got a whole lot of field to get to the end zone.
And the quarterback threw a game-winning touchdown pass with 32 seconds left in the game. And seeing the like reactions of the Auburn players, like, oh my, they were like, we have it in the bag. We've got it. All we have to do is tackle him. All we have to do is stop them. And that's it. And he throws this pass to the corner, like back corner of the end zone.
Very back corner.
The receiver goes up and like barely like catches it inbounds. It was wild.
It was so crazy,
and
guys.
Like watching the hope like drain out of the faces of the Auburn fans was just so sad. And like just really explains how crazy this game is, because you just never know who's going to win. Doesn't matter if they're ranked, unranked, or their records up until this point. Like, this game is like their Super Bowl, I feel like.
100%. No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I feel like this next one I'll make quick too, but Michigan, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Also a very intense one. It's become known as the game, which just feels like so Ohio State.
So Ohio. They had to have named this.
I know. That's what I'm saying, honestly.
Because it's the Ohio State to some people. The game.
That's what I thought of too. And I knew you'd agree with me.
Can't roll my eyes harder.
I know. Truly, in the back of my head. Yeah. My eyes. Anyways, so keep in mind that these states are neighboring states. And this context helped me a lot, where there's been some beef between the states themselves in the past. So from like 1835 to 1836, Michigan and Ohio, the states themselves, they were at a war basically for land. They were like debating who should have this piece of land in the middle.
Intense. Okay.
Very intense. It was called the War of Toledo. No one like died. There was a casualty. A sheriff or someone was super injured, but like it started becoming violent, and then it just became a thing where like even after it was decided that like, okay, this strip is Ohio land, people would still like debate it all the time. There was like still beef between these states.
Yeah.
So then I feel like it only makes sense. Oh, there's a football program in each of them. Now there's beef between the football programs. So
only natural.
Yes, the passion was already there. Okay. So, but the football program that began in 1987. Early on in this rivalry, Michigan was like super dominant. They'd been around longer than Ohio State by like 10 or so years. And so they won 19 of the first 24 outings between the teams. And then eventually Ohio State hired a new coach, Francis Schmidt. And this is what happens when you get a new coach. If you have been down in the rivalry or anything, they're going to ask you, are you going to bring a win to this rivalry? What's going on?
Yeah, the most important thing.
The most important thing.
Not the national title.
Straight up. They ask about the rivalries, guys.
Title.
Nope.
The rivalries.
So, he was asked about that, if he was going to be able to turn it around, because at this point, Michigan led it 22-6-2. Football used to be weird. Yeah, 2 ties. Yeah. Anyways, his response was something to the effect that he could, given that Michigan players put their pants on one leg at a time, just like we do. To this day, if Ohio State wins, the players get a golden pants charm based on that saying of that old Ohio State coach.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Which is so long ago.
So random.
They'll still get golden pants. They put their pants on one foot at a time, just like we do. Why couldn't we win? And a lot of times it'll have the coach's initials, the year on it, whatever. So there's not a trophy for this one, but that is a reward for Ohio State players. I just thought that was super crazy. Side note, after they hired that coach, Ohio State won 4 straight with a combined score of 114-0. So things did turn around. Michigan, though, currently does lead the series over Ohio 61-52-6. They've won the last 3 years. Their most recent win came on Saturday, which was another dramatic one. They both went into the game undefeated at 11-0. It's not like they're undefeated early on in the season. They were 11-0 at the time. Ohio State was only down 6 points. It was the end of the fourth quarter. 34 seconds left. Ohio State had the ball. The quarterback steps up to throw, and boom, it's picked off by Moore, who's a Michigan player, but an Ohio State native, which just seems
fitting.
Yeah. Anyways, fans stormed the field. Michigan fans stormed the field, and it was really dramatic. So it's the emotion still there today.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's why we're talking about it, but it's super crazy.
Yeah. I remember one of my old roommates, Caitlin.
Oh, yeah.
She's from Michigan. And so this is a huge game for her. But she told me straight up, she would go to these games, but if you had a Michigan plate and you, went to Ohio for the game, or if you were just visiting, you don't even have to be there for the game, have any, resemblance of, Michigan, the school on your, they would, break into your cars or, slash your tires.
Well, that's terrible.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, that's too far.
Yeah, too far. And I'm sure that happens in other rivalries, but I just...
you've heard the stories.
Yeah, I've heard the stories. Which is just crazy. And that's just, it's college football, man. And it's the best week of the year is a rivalry week,
it is.
Honestly.
It is. Our very last one, really quick, we just have to talk about BYU Utah because we both live in Utah. We've worked within this rivalry for years. Mm-hmm. We went to school within this rivalry. And it's... Honestly, I think it's more intense than people think. So it's known as the Holy War just because BYU is a church-ran private institution. Yep. Utah's is not, but it's in Utah, so there's a lot of members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on both sides. It just happens. Yeah. But it's called the Holy War unofficially, meaning the schools won't call it that.
Meaning,
but everybody else does. It gets a lot of attention. We're talking about football, and it does get a lot of attention on the football field. But it actually started on the baseball field in 1895. Yeah. Before BYU was BYU, and it was BYA, Brigham Young Academy. Listen, the details of the game are sketchy. What people know is that it ended in a scoreless tie, and that there was a bench clearing brawl. They didn't finish the game. That's what people know about it.
I do remember us talking about this too when we worked at BYU.
Yeah, because a lot of people I don't think realize that's kind of where it came from. This is another one where when the rivalry began is also up for debate. Yeah. BYU says it began in 1922. On their athletic website, they don't have any history of the rivalry before that. Utah does not say that. They say it began in 1896 when they played Brigham Young Academy for the first time on the football field. I think what's unique about this one is people don't realize how close the schools are in proximity.
Yeah.
Literally a 45-minute drive.
Yep. And, like, there's so much overlap even within the program.
Yes.
With coaches and players transferring back and forth.
People transfer back and forth, like, all the time.
Yeah.
For context, Utah's head coach used to play at BYU. BYU's head coach played at BYU, but coached at Utah for a while. Like, they coached together. They know each other. These coaches know each other very well.
Personally.
The players know each other very well. There's, like, iconic quotes. They asked a Utah player, what do you think of BYU? He said, they so poo-poo. And Utah players and Utah fans love that. They think it's hilarious. BYU fans hate that. They think it's so annoying. Truthfully, like, if you live in Utah, like, one of the first questions, like, if you're talking sports, it's like, wait, Utah or BYU? Yeah. Like, constantly. Yeah. I feel like it's a huge, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's just like every other it's a big thing. It causes controversy. You either like someone or you don't, sometimes based off of it. Or it can work in our favor. Both of our significant others are Utah fans.
I don't know how literally, my boyfriend just bought this plaque. We were at the grocery store and he bought, like, Ute fans only. And I was like, oh, he's going to, like, put it in his house. He is putting it in my house. And I'm like, no. And I'll, like, go and move it and, like, tuck it away. And then I'm like,
that's so funny.
It's somewhere else. Yeah. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah.
So it's, like, it's just you're so intermixed with, like, fans of each team. But because of that, even, like, on game days, there's been, like, vandalism problems or things like that throughout the years. Like, BYU wraps up their statues because they've been spray painted and, like, each teams have, like, burned each other's fields, like, super dramatic stuff because it's not that far to go and do that.
Yeah, it's really not.
It's really not. So, that's one that's just, like, super prevalent if you live in Utah or if you have lived in Utah or
even if you're, like, a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints from outside of Utah.
You're honestly probably a Utah or BYU fan, one way or the other. So,
Anyways, that was fun.
I
learned a lot, honestly. Even, like, some of the ones that I thought I knew, like, a lot about, I knew nothing about.
Same. I'm literally like, okay, I've watched an Army-Navy game, and I did not know what was happening, clearly. Like, what?
So, anyways.
Thank you for learning with us, guys. Rivalries are one of the things that I love about sports. We both love it. So
sometimes they go too far. Chill out. Remember, it's still a game.
We love the fun parts of it. We're not about the vandalism, breaking cars part.
Yeah.
Okay, the fun parts that make the game so intense, it makes the emotion so high. Makes the wins even better, and it's just really fun. So, that's it, though. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving.
Yes.
If you're ever picking a fandom, be aware of your rivalries. Okay?
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Choose wisely.
Choose wisely. If you like this episode, go rate, review, follow us.
Comment if you have any thoughts.
Yeah, if you have any thoughts,
or if
comment or
there's one that you think we should have brought up, but we didn't, because there's plenty, trust me.
There are plenty. We know we didn't hit on all of them, but maybe next time. But that's all this time from Calling
the Shots.
We'll see you guys next time.
See ya. Bye.